Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. Now, we have been working on this $6 million man pinball machine for a couple videos now. Where have you been? I know, some of you are saying, I've been right here. So in the first video, we kind of just did an overview of the shape we found the thing in. It's in nice shape, in my opinion. Needs a little work, but it's in nice shape. It's a good one to start with. And then in the second video, we worked on the two power supplies. So we worked on the transformer block with the rectifier board on it, and then we worked on the solenoid driver board. And we've basically got everything doing exactly what it was doing when the guy brought it to us. The only thing we've done so far is we figured out the ball was stuck. But we've been doing preventative maintenance, you know. So I think it'll make it more solid for the gentleman down the road. This is a customer's. They brought it by wanting us to go through it, work our magic, and get the thing a little more reliable, because right now it's tripping. The main thing is these displays are scary. Very scary. So we're gonna work on that a little bit. And in this video, since we've already done the rectifier board, since we've already done the solenoid driver board, go back and watch those videos if you haven't. We're on to the MPU, and you can see the MPU still has the battery in it. Man, I'm losing my breath here. It's still got the battery on it, but we're going to fix that. So that's the very next thing. I'm going to take it out of the cabinet, and we'll put it on the table and work through it a little bit. Now, remember though, it's already up and running, so I hope we don't break it. Okay, folks, got it on the bench. Now, just to appease everyone. Clip. Clip. Alright, does everybody feel better now? So we talked about this in one of the other videos. 20th week of 1984, it looks like that date code says. And it's a Matsushita, Matsu something, I think, because of that triangle thing there, I believe. So this freaking thing is 36 years old and did not leak. So I would just like to put out the demand for the battery companies. Come on, people, get it right. I mean, if these people could do it in 1984, how come you can't do it? So these batteries leak all over these things a lot of times. However, this one is perfect. No problems at all. But we're going to put a different style on there for them. Everything works, so I'm not going to do too much preventative maintenance. There's a little bit we're going to do. I'm going to take these chips out and clean the legs just because they're so filthy. I mean, they are filthy. So I'm going to take out the ROM chips. And then we're going to clean the connectors. So this is the connector that does the displays. And see how it's all oxidized and dirty and everything? So that could be like if the display is connected to that pin and it's all dark, it might not be sending the power through to turn on the one display. So we're going to clean those. I just use like a really non-abrasive file to shine them up a little bit. Some people say you shouldn't do that, and they definitely shouldn't. We're going to put a new battery on it. We'll see what creative way we can do that. I think one would look really good right there. And we're going to resolder the connectors because there's some bad solder joints. Surely. Let's see here. This damn light. I hate LEDs. I just hate them. They're too damn bright. Anyway. They've already been resoldered, so that's probably not the problem. But I'll look at it up close when I don't have this bright light. That all looks pretty good to me. Pretty good to me. Well, don't you love that sound? It's beautiful. This is a hell of a board. This is the -35 version of this Bally board. If I don't drop it and break it. I believe that is down under that sticker. We're going to leave the sticker, but I think this is the -35 version because it's got the way you can tell. There's probably a bunch of ways you can tell. There was a -17 version and then a -35 version, and so it's like their part numbers would be like AS 2962, and then. But this is not the number that I'm talking about. But usually it's got a -35 or a -17. Denoting which board it is. The 17, of course, was the earlier version. The way you can usually tell if it's the earlier one or the older one is you can tell, the way I always tell is by the jumper numbers. So, see E9, E10, E11. Well, on the newer one, the 35 version, the numbers get really high. So, see down here, it's E35, E34, blah, blah, blah. On the -17, I believe the jumpers only go up to about number 12 or something like that. So this is the newer one. So the difference being that the newer one can run newer software, which was larger. So basically, it could have larger ROM chips. I've never seen a game that used these 3 chips. So I don't think they. I've seen some that have the sockets there, but it looked like they just populated them from the factory, but then never used them. So it may have been some of the replacement boards that you ordered had the sockets in them or something. I don't know. But I've never seen a game, even with the original ROMs. These are the original ROMs. I've never seen one use all of those chips. Here's the ROM numbers, in case you're wondering. Hopefully that's the right game. That should be a $6 million man. Same thing, 79-17. That's probably the 17th week of 1979. The 46th week of 78. The 51st week of 78. This is right there at the end of the year when these suckers came out. Okay, so I'm not going to resolder the connectors. I'm just going to clean them. I'm going to start popping the chips out and cleaning them with my handy dandy chip puller. Somebody sent me this on the channel here. A German chip lifter. Leave it to the Germans. They always come up with all of the cool tools. So, normally you would just use a flat screwdriver, but not if a German's involved. Nope. He's going to figure out that angle is just the right angle to get that thing out of there just right. Perfect. I love it. All right, so I'm going to pull those out and clean them up a little bit and put them back in, and then we're going to address the battery situation. Even though this one lasted all those years without dying. Well, I'll check the voltage on it too. That'll be interesting. Okay, so the old battery was dropping a little bit. It's down to a little bit over 2 volts. But I don't really know what it was originally. So it's got 1, 2, 3 batteries in there. There's 3 little cells in there. So you would think it would have been up over 3 volts originally. Boy, that was a good one, though. It had a good life. I'm proud of you, Mr. Battery, for not ruining our beautiful board. Thank you. You're one of a kind. I've seen every one of those boards I've ever had, the damn batteries leaked. Very few exceptions. All right, so we got to fix the battery problem. So I cleaned the chips, put them back in. I cleaned the connectors. They're good to go. So originally, see how this hole connects to the trace around the edge? That's because that's the ground side. And then this is the positive side. So when it goes through that hole, you look on the back, there is just a trace that jumps across over to this trace. Right? So on the back, it's going through and then it's connecting over to here actually. And then there's a resistor and it goes up and it does its thing. But there's no blocking diode. So the board will try to charge the battery. I do believe. I do. Yeah, it's just connected with a resistor. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to put you can put an NVRAM in here, but the guy I buy them from is out of them right now, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to put a different battery on it. But we want to put one that won't leak. Those things that I just took off, it'd leak a lot of times, but that one didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little watch battery holder, like a button cell battery. I always call them watch batteries. A watch battery holder. And I'm going to put the ground side, which is the big flat part, in the ground hole there. And then I'm going to put the positive side, I'm going to drill a hole right where I've made that dot. And then that way I can mount this little battery holder there, but it's not connected over to the 5. And then I'm going to use a diode to connect it from the leg that goes through the hole over to where it needs to be. And so by doing that, using this as a jumper with the banded end towards the board, you're making it where the power out of the battery can only go this way and no power can go back through this banded side of the diode. So it can't try to charge a battery that's not chargeable. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to drill a little hole. Now, to you people that don't want me to drill a hole, look, this is going to save this board from getting damaged by having the wrong battery on it, okay? I mean, by having the right battery on it. So don't worry about it, people. Don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. We'll do it real clean. All right, so I got it in. Looking good. Make sure you get it lined up so that you don't hit a trace on the back when you drill your hole through it. And don't make it too big. A little teeny tiny hole is best. The smaller the better. And then you want to put a little glue on it too, so that you don't want the solder to be all that's like holding it in place, because it since you drilled that hole, there's no tin on the hole. So we got that. We did the connectors. We cleaned the chips. So we're ready to put it back in and just see if that improved our situation with the displays. And then we'll work with the displays. See what we can do there. Got it mounted back in there real nice. They had some kind of janky screws in there. That's not the right stuff. Ooh. Ooh. So, a while back I ordered a bunch of the right screws, so I've got extra ones laying around if I ever need them, and today's the day. So we got the right ones in there. If you saw the video, was it the 8-ball video that I did? One of the videos I was talking about how it's a special type of screw that has like a tapered end on it, but it's not a sheet metal screw. It's and it's not a thread forming. It's not a thread cutting screw. It may have been a thread forming screw. It was the type that they use on their flipper mechs on Bally's, and it's the same ones that hold all the boards in. Originally, though, they were these little black ones. So they had one of them, but the other one was screwed up. But we got it back in. Okay. So let's see if we're still good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. The lights are doing their things. Let's see if it made our displays any better. It did not. They're exactly the same. Gong, gong, gong. Alright, so we're down to our problem is on the actual displays themselves. So we're going to have to start pulling them out one at a time and working through them. And I got a new toy. I've got a new toy I'm going to try out, and you're going to do it with me. So we'll do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this second display here that isn't doing anything. And we'll see if we can figure out why we're getting nothing out of that one. Okay, so I had somebody send me this in the mail. Hi, Ron. I've really been enjoying your channel through this damn pandemic. Haven't we all? This is goofy, but it's a great tool to see if plasma glass is good. Works 100%, and it's kind of cool. From John Tyner. Thank you, John. He sent me a magic plasma ball. So, apparently, you can turn this sucker on and then hold a display up to it, and the crap will jump into the display and light it up if the glass on the display is good. So that second display looks dead. So we're going to try holding it up to this plasma ball, and I'm going to try not to get the hell shocked out of me. My viewers are now trying to send me carefully created traps that may kill me. I'm going to survive it, I think, though. But we're going to plug it in and try it out and see if it works. And maybe it'll tell us if that second display is any good. So let me see if I can plug the thing up. All right, here it is. The magic plasma ball. Look, you can do the Star Wars thing. I remember they always had these in Spencer's when I was a kid, when I wasn't supposed to be in Spencer's. Okay, so I'm going to read the instructions because they're hilarious. Product description. This plasma magic ball is newly developed, high-tech product. Now, newly developed. Come on, man. I saw these things 30 years ago. This plasma magic ball is newly developed, high-tech product used for inner decoration or a toy for a kid. Its glass sphere can emit magical and beautiful spark. If touching the sphere with hand, it will show dreamlike arc light. With audio control function, the varies undulately sparks will be emitted from the lamp along with the sound rhythm. Now, how do you do that with the sound rhythm? How it works. The plasma ball contains a gaseous mixture. The base produce high-frequency electromagnetic waves that cause the gas into plasma, which is ionized gas. Blah, 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 blah. You may feel a slight tingling sensation, which is caused by the vibrations on the glass ball as the electrons strike the surface of the ball. Okay. Touching the ball with a hand will lead you to a magical world. There has never been anything more true than that. Oh, man. Note, try to connect the power source rather than batteries for environmental protection. I am so glad that they are so worried about protecting the environment. I had no clue. Okay. So that's all. So precautions. Here's how not to get killed. In order to avoid personal injury or product damage, do not attempt to remove or open the base from the ball. Okay. To prevent fire or shark hazard, do not expose this product to rain or moisture. Never immerse the unit in water. Please ensure adequate ventilation. Never place the ball near a radiator, heat system, or near a fireplace. Please turn off and unplug it from the power source if you will not use it for a long period. If the product have any damage, please discontinue use immediately and take it to a qualified service center for inspection and repair. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Hey, I was just calling. Do you know anybody that fixes magic plasma balls? Yeah, my magic plasma ball has a crack in it. You know anybody that can fix that? Are you you can fix it. Are you a qualified service? Oh, you're not an official qualified service center for the magic plasma ball. Okay, well, never mind. I got to call some more people. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate your time. All right, so it's doing its thing. I feel a slight tingling sensation. I think it's zapping me. I think it's getting me. All right, so I'm going to hold the display up to it and see if the thing jumps into the display and try not to get killed while I do it. Well, after all that, unfortunately, I can't get it to work. So, it was a nice thought, John. But it's not doing nothing. I think maybe it's not powerful enough since it's a USB powered one. And I got this display here that I know works. Nothing. Maybe if I carefully put it up backwards. I'm trying not to get killed here. Nope. It's not doing its thing. What a shame. I'll take one of the ones that we know works out here in a minute and try it. But I wonder if the glass is really bad on that. Maybe the glass is bad on both and I just don't know it. I'm pretty sure this one works though, because we took it out of a working game. Oh well, it was worth playing with. Okay, so this one that was in player 2 that's completely dead. If you look really close, the first thing you always have to mess with, let's let that focus if it will. Look at the solder on that first pin. And the second one, and the third one. So that first one is where the 5 volts comes from that runs the chip. And then if you look down at this end, the last at least 3 are broken as well. The last one is broken really bad, and I think that may be the actual source voltage that runs the whole thing. Yeah, the high voltage. So, if I resolder those, it'll probably fix it all. So we're going to do that. You can test these transistors too. If you look on these Ballys, there will be 6 of them. Sometimes they're in different places, but they kind of group them together. So there will be 6 of them that are the same. And so if you test using your diode check from the center leg to the outside leg, like center leg to right, center leg to center leg to right, center leg to left, and then check it on the other ones too, they should all be about the same. Similar readings. Don't have to be exact, but similar readings. And if they are, then they're all probably fine. And then you can do the same with these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 control the segments. And then these 6 work with these 6 to turn on the digits. And then also on these, of course, you have the problem with the resistors. So these resistors at R1, R3, R5, R7, R9, and R11. And they're in different places on different boards, but they always have those numbers. Sometimes they're too small and they burn up. So sometimes they need replaced. So if you can test those against each other too. And if you get one that's wildly out of spec from the other ones, you can replace that. But I'll test that. But the problem on this one, at least, is obviously that this needs resoldered. So hopefully that'll bring this whole display back. John, your magic ball was tripping. But that's good. We can get another magic ball, but these displays are getting hard to find. But that one ended up being good, so it's cool. So we fixed the second one. Let's go down to this 4th player one that's flickering. That's probably something similar. So I'll pull it out next. The 3rd one's dead, so there's probably no voltage going to it. But the 4th one, it's flickering. That's probably that might burn something up. So that one has the most chance of failing on us if we don't fix it real quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm going to turn. Whenever you take these displays out, though, I try to make it always clear. You can't do it while it's turned on. You have to turn the machine off. I always turn the machine on for the video purpose, just because it looks cool with the lights going and everything. But if you're working on the playfield, don't do it with the machine on if you can help it. If you're working on the displays, never disconnect them while they're turned on. You'll burn up the display or burn up the board even, driving it. You can have all kinds of problems doing that. So on this one, remember it was lit up, but it's just tripping. This is the high voltage pin. And it's probably passable. We're going to resolder it anyway. It's probably passable, but when you get down here to the other end, this is the 5 volts, which is more with the logic. You know, this is one of the strobe lines or something, you know. Or I guess that's probably one of the segments actually going to the, whatever. But this 5 volt being sketchy, you know, is going to make it do things like it's doing. So just same thing, going to resolder them. I'm going to check the resistors. Let's see if any of them look burnt all up. One, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. They look fine on this one. I think that's no big deal. Remember, I'm fixing this for a customer, and I can't go through and make everything 100% and spend a ton of money on everything, because then I got to charge the guy for it, and the thing already works. He just wants me to make it work a little better. You know, he doesn't want me to like completely restore the whole thing. So, you know, but if you're doing yours, you might want to replace these resistors, even though they're perfectly fine, with some higher wattage ones, because they do end up causing trouble down the road. But for me, that would take time. Not much money in it because those resistors are so cheap, but you know, I'd have to charge more. It's more time spent on it. So we're going to skip right past that, because these ones are fine, and I don't think it'll cause them any trouble in the near future. So I'll resolder that, and we'll pop it back in and see if that fixes our flickering problem. All right, that stopped the flickering. Looks rock steady here in person. You know, there was another interesting thing going on. This top one had what I would call ghosting. There would be like you'd see extra segments where it looked like there was a number lit behind, and one of the other numbers, like the 1, instead of a 1, it would have like a halfway lit 8 behind it or something, and it's not doing it anymore. So it could have been that one was interfering with that display. All of these are connected together, so if you get one display that's messed up, it can make the other ones do weird stuff. So, all right, so now on to the third one here. That's not working, but if you look, see that bright light? That's the high voltage. So it's getting the high voltage, but nothing on the screen. So I'm going to guess that the 5 volt is completely missing from that one. That I'll bet that solder joint's completely broke, but who knows? So I'll pop it out, and we'll try that one next. And then we're going to do the other ones too. We resolder all of them, but we're just trying to troubleshoot here. I don't know. The 5 volt looks like it's on there pretty good. This one might be something more severe. I don't know. Maybe it's cracked. And the high voltage is definitely cracked. So, same thing. We'll resolder it. Check out the resistors. They look just fine. The reason I'm doing the look test on these when you should really measure them is because these burn up. I mean, they have so much juice running through them. Whenever they go bad, they'll be burnt. They'll be falling apart. And since all 6 of them are not working, all 6 digits aren't coming on, you would assume that they'd all be charred, that they wouldn't be just barely bad enough that you can't even tell by looking at them. Okay, so I'll test them, and I'll resolder the connector, and then we'll see if that does anything, or if not, we might have to track down something else on it. All right, our ghosting is back. So it is working. It's got that little ghost digit, and I saw it a minute ago up here on this first one again. So while it could be something I just did, it's flickering now too. It might have been my solder job. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out the first one and just take a look at it just to make sure that there's nothing going on it. Yeah, that third one's still tripping. It doesn't like something. But I'm going to pull out the first one and check it out. Alright, here's the first one. Definitely bad solder. On a bunch of stuff. So, sometimes if you get one where you're getting a ghosted digit like that, it's because a couple of the pins are shorted together. I actually even did that on one of our videos not too long ago. I accidentally got 2 of them barely touching. The resistors look fine on this one. And it can be a transistor too, you know. It can be the chip usually does segment stuff, but okay. So I'm going to reflow this one and pop it back in and see if we still have all that weird stuff going on with the third display. Just the way the things are wired, if one display does weird stuff, it'll make another one do weird stuff, and sometimes to the point that the display that has a problem works and looks fine, and another one is screwed up because this display is screwed up. It's just the weirdest stuff. So I'll resolder it. We'll throw it back in and see what we got. Okay, all four of those look good. The third one I unplugged and replugged just in case it wasn't making good contact on the pins or something. So I don't know if it's just that or if it was just it didn't like one of those solder joints on the first player. I slid it out and looked at the bottom of the third one. I slid it out and looked at the bottom of it again, and the solder all looked fine. So maybe we're good on that. So these three here we haven't messed with yet. Let's go on a display test. Now you'll notice in display test number 5 and number 6 come on with zeros. That's going to be some kind of, remember most games just have 4 and the ball and credit display. So those two, they must have added them somehow with one of the strobe lines for the lights or something like that, and that's why it's doing that. So here's our display test. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Alright, all four of those look good. So over here, interestingly enough, we're missing the first digit on the ball and the ball and play and credit display, but you don't even use the first digit. On the back glass it's blocked out, but we'll fix it anyway. Or we'll try to. So that'll be next. So we'll pull out this ball credit display there and see if we can figure out why that first digit ain't working. Okay, so this is the ball credit one. The first thing I noticed is that it's a lot dirtier than the other ones, so it's probably older. Somebody probably swapped this in out of another machine. You can use you can get these cool kind of bristle brushes at Lowe's or something, and they're good for stuff like this where you're trying to get dirt and dust out of there. Clean it up a little bit where you can see what's going on. What's going on? So, you remember which one was missing? It was the one all the way over here. So there's about 5 things it can be. Okay. So if all the other ones are working, well then you know your power's good and all that, right? It could be a bad connection from the wire going into the plug that sends the signal for that digit. The digit ones are all the ones over here. So this is the high voltage. That's a ground. That one's nothing. Or it may be something on the top, I don't know. Digit, 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 digit. So, and I think they're in order. So the digit that we're missing is that pin right there. And it looks just fine. So then it comes over and it runs through a transistor, and then it runs through the resistors. So like I was saying, R1, 3, 5, and then 7, 9, 11, and it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So R11 would be the problem, which is that third one there. It looks fine, but we'll test it. And then there is also a transistor for each one up here. So it could be this transistor, or it could be this transistor. And then also it could be bad solder on the glass itself. There's a happy little trace right there. clean him up. There's no mistakes. maybe another happy little trace lives right here. Okay, I don't see anything obvious jumping out at me. I mean, you literally can have the pin broke off the glass, too. Alright, so I'm going to get the multimeter. I'm going to check that resistor, and then I'm going to check the 2 transistors for that digit. And we'll see what we got. Okay, so this was exactly what we were talking about earlier. See R11 there on the right side of the screen? That bunch of 4 resistors, and then that jumper. The third resistor there is R11. I can't get my finger in there right now. I got a perfect shot. This one. That's R11. So this one measures 100K. This one measures 100K. This one measures completely open. So that thing is completely failed, but it looks brand new. So there's our exception. Okay, so I'm going to pop it out, and a lot of times whenever you have one like that that's open, and then you pop it out, the thing will break in half when you're taking it apart because it's inside, it's already broken in half. So I'll pop that out, pop in another 100K resistor, and hopefully that'll do it. It's got a new one in there. I high watered it a little bit because they do get hot, and it's a bigger one, so that's a half ohm. Not half ohm, half watt instead of quarter watt. And the original one did not break apart. But yeah, it measures completely open, even though it looks perfect. So, if you're doing yours as a hobbyist, you may want to replace all of them. You know, so ask me if I want to replace 6 of them on 7 different displays. No, I do not. So I'm going to go put this back in, and we'll see if that fixed that. Okay, that got us our digit back. Everything's looking good. The 4 player ones on the left, the first 4 player ones, I guess, seem to be doing their thing. So all we have left is player 6 and player 5. We need to just check the solder on those and clean them up a little bit, and then we'll be good. All right, folks, so touched up the solder on those, and now everything looks good. We'll keep our eye on it, though, because we still have other stuff we have to do. So when the gentleman brought it to us, he said that the displays were messed up, which they were. Now they're not. And he said that the ball would not kick out of the out hole because it was stuck. We found that. There was a rubber ring stuck in it, and it was stuck in the thing. He made his own rubber rings out of a bicycle tube or something. So that's pretty cool. So we'll be fixing all that. But that was the 2 problems with it. And then he wanted us to fix up the playfield, get it looking good and playing good. And so that's next. But there's still some light bulbs that aren't working, things like that we'll find whenever we're messing with the playfield. And then also the soundboard is suspect. So we will work on the soundboard too at some point. It doesn't play a little tune when it starts up, but they may have that turned off with a dip switch or something. But we're getting there. So we got the displays looking good. I can confidently say that I think it's pretty reliable. I think it'll be good for them. But we're going to leave it running and stuff and all of that. But next up, we're going to work on this playfield. So we're going to take all of this apart, clean it, and put it all back together. If you didn't see our previous video, we went over it and looked at it, and the thing is in really nice shape. So this is a good survivor quality game from 1978. And we've got this Knight Rider here next to it that I've played a bunch. I've never played this game, $6 Million Man, but I've played Knight Rider a bunch. It was designed by the same designer, and Knight Rider is really fun. So if it's fun, I'm sure this one is too. So this is probably a really cool game, which we'll find out soon enough. But hey, we got all our displays looking good and doing their thing. So if you have any display issues, I hope that helps you out a little bit. And yeah, so that's that. So we've fixed all of the major stuff. Now it's just down to making everything look better. So making sure all the lights light up, making sure the sound is as good as it should be, and making sure the playfield's clean and plays good. Look how cool this thing is. Man, what a great game. It's going to be fun to play. So leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. What do you think about the displays? Pretty cool. And we'd like to thank everybody that's been using our Amazon links. That's pretty cool, guys and girls. If you don't know about that, we put a link to Amazon down below. If you go to Amazon and buy anything, it gives us a tip because you bought something. So thank you for everybody that's been doing that. We appreciate it. I had somebody on there the other day buying Levi's. They bought 10 pairs of Levi's. That's a lot of jeans. That's pretty cool. Thank you, whoever did that. That's pretty awesome. Also, make sure to check out my brother Donnie. Now, if you don't know about that, literally, my brother Donnie has his own channel now. He's not the most technologically advanced person in the world, but he gets by. And so he's now doing YouTube, and he's doing pretty good, and he's got a ton of subscribers already, kicking butt. He's growing about 5-6 times faster than I did, at least, probably more than that, maybe 10 times faster than I did. He's only been doing it about 8 months, and he's already got like 1,000 subscribers, or really close to it. So go check that out if you haven't. He's always funny. He and I bought an old building in downtown Jefferson, South Carolina, which is this little town near here. We bought this old building that was beat up a little bit, and we've been working on it and fixing it up because we're going to rent it out. So we're trying to renovate the building and rent it out to kind of help revitalize the downtown area of that little town and get some businesses back open and people walking the sidewalks again. I almost said walking the streets, but that don't sound good. If you say people walking the streets, for some reason that sounds real bad. But if you say walking the sidewalks, that sounds like, oh yeah, let's take a stroll. So we're trying to get people walking the sidewalks again, and so far it's working pretty good. So go check that out if you like old buildings and minor repair work and stuff. Some major repair work, but we're not experts by any means, but it's pretty fun to mess with. So go check that out. I'll see you over there, and I will see you on the next episode where we're working on this one. I think next time we're going to go ahead and tear into the playfield so we can clean it up, get it waxed up, get all new rubber rings on it and everything, and get this sucker where we can finally play it. It actually works. It actually works. We don't have a ball in it, and it's filthy, so I don't want to play it. And then it's got an inner tube on the flippers, so I don't want to break them whenever I hit them with the ball. I wonder if he already broke them. No, he did not. Okay, so it's getting real close, you know. It's doing its thing. It just needs a little more love before we can actually play it. So we'll see you on the next video, and we'll get farther into it.